Dad, why are we so poor? I remember asking my father that question when I was just a little kid. We lived in a small, cramped apartment, and I'd see my friends with all these new toys and fancy clothes. It just didn't seem fair. My dad, instead of giving me a long lecture about the economy or telling me to work harder, just looked at me with a sad smile. He said, "Son, to understand that, you have to understand the story of the goblin boy." I was confused. A goblin boy? What did that have to do with our empty pantry? But my dad insisted, and so he began to tell me a story that at the time felt like a strange fairy tale. But as I've gotten older, I've realized it was the most important lesson he ever taught me. He told me about a little goblin who lived deep in a forest, in a cave filled with glittering, useless junk. The goblin spent every single day, from sunrise to sunset, hoarding more of it. He'd find shiny rocks, twisted branches, and colorful leaves, convinced each one was a priceless treasure. His cave was overflowing. He could barely move without tripping over his collection. He was so busy collecting, he never learned to build a proper shelter, find good food, or make a friend. When winter came, his cave was cold. The shiny rocks didn't keep him warm. The pretty leaves didn't fill his stomach. He had a mountain of stuff, but he was starving and alone. He was the richest, poorest goblin in the entire forest. Now my dad looked at me and said, "There's also a story of a human boy who lived nearby. This boy didn't have a cave full of treasures. He had a small garden, a fishing rod, and a single well-made axe. Instead of collecting shiny things, he spent his days tending to his vegetables, catching fish in the river, and chopping wood for his fire. He learned how to mend his own clothes and build furniture. He didn't have much, but he was never cold and never hungry. One day, the goblin, desperate and freezing, stumbled out of his cave and saw the boy's cozy little cottage, smoke curling from the chimney. The boy saw the goblin shivering and invited him in. He shared his warm soup and bread. The goblin was stunned. He asked the boy, "Where are all your treasures? How can you be so comfortable with so little?" The boy smiled and pointed to his garden, his fishing rod, his axe. "These are my treasures," he said. "They aren't just things to look at. They are tools that help me live. They give me food, warmth, and shelter. What can your treasures do?" The goblin looked down at the shiny rock he was still clutching. For the first time, he realized it was just a cold, useless stone. My dad paused the story there and looked at me. "Son," he said, "we're not poor because of the money we don't have. People become poor when they start hoarding goblin treasures instead of learning how to use the human boy's tools." That's when it started to click. He wasn't talking about literal goblins and boys. He was talking about a mindset. He explained that goblin treasures are the things we chase that look valuable but have no real substance. It could be chasing status, buying things we don't need to impress people we don't like, or spending all our time on distractions that don't help us grow. It's the obsession with the appearance of wealth over the creation of actual value. We see it all the time: people with expensive cars they can't afford, the latest gadgets they don't use, and a life that looks perfect on social media but is empty in reality. They are modern-day goblins, hoarding shiny rocks in a cold cave. The human boy's tools, on the other hand, are skills. They are our ability to solve problems, to learn, to create, to build relationships, and to manage our resources wisely. Things like learning a trade, mastering a craft, knowing how to cook a healthy meal from scratch, being able to fix things when they break, learning how to invest your time and money instead of just spending it. These tools don't always look shiny. They take effort to acquire and maintain, but they are what truly create a rich life, a life of security, freedom, and fulfillment. My dad told me, "I may not be able to give you a cave full of treasures, son, but I can spend my life teaching you how to use the tools." And he did. He taught me how to budget the little money we had. He taught me how to repair my own bike. He taught me the value of reading books from the library, of learning for the sake of learning. He showed me that true wealth isn't about what you own. It's about what you can do. It's about your skills, your knowledge, your resourcefulness, and your character. That story changed my entire perspective. I stopped feeling poor and started feeling empowered. I realized our small apartment wasn't a sign of failure. It was our workshop. It is where I was learning the skills that would eventually allow me to build any life I wanted. I started seeing opportunities everywhere to acquire new tools for my toolbox. Every book was a new skill. Every problem was a chance to learn how to solve it. So the next time you find yourself wondering why you're struggling, ask yourself this: Are you spending your days collecting shiny goblin treasures, or are you sharpening your human tools? Are you focused on looking rich, or are you focused on becoming capable? The world is full of poor goblins living in caves overflowing with junk. Be the human. Build your garden, learn to fish, and keep your axe sharp. That's the real secret to wealth that no one tells you about. It's not in your bank account. It's in your toolbox. Thanks for watching.